everybody, and welcome to Bikernieki High Speed Ring in Latvia, as we have got the third round of the Group C Honey Jar series, brought to you by SimRacingOnline.co.uk. The championship is now underway, 2 rounds gone, and we've got Pablo Finotti at the top of our championship table at the moment with 73 points. He holds on to the top step of the podium that he got in the first round of the championship at Riverside. He wasn't able to repeat his race winning performance at Goodwood. That's because John van der Geest beat him to the win. However, that does now mean that John van der Geest is only 3 points away between the two teammates going into Bikernieki here for round number 3. Further down though, it's a 14-point gap between second and third position, John van der Geest and Johnny Gutierrez. The two of them, they have both been showing really great performance, but Johnny Gutierrez was not able to do the same pace as John van der Geest. But that is actually the two top of your timing championship at the moment, just 3 points away, and I think it's going to remain interesting for the rest of the season. Of course, the opening round wasn't the best performance for van der Geest, getting involved in the accident out of the final turn on the formation lap, placing him a lap down absolutely immediately in the race. He was able to recover for a 5th position finish. I think it was actually 4th position finish. He then went and showed what he can truly do at Goodwood last time out. But let's see what happens here at the Bikernieki High Speed Ring. We're just waiting for qualifying to tick over, and then we will be getting going here at Bikernieki. Currently at the top of your timing during this session is John van der Geest, and by 0.6 of a second ahead of Tony Talvitti. As fantastic. Looking through the rest of our championship standings then, as for now, we've also got Denis Ishenko in 4th position and Larry Thomas in 5th. Rob Milliken sits in 6th position right now. The 3 of them all separated by just 8 points between 4th to 6th. So very close between them all. And of course, I had to put it out there that it is going to be a couple of cars with the weight penalties, of course, here at Bikernieki after the opening 2 rounds. So the weight penalties applied here. Pablo Finotti, he's got 40 kilos on board. That's because he won the first race and he came 3rd last time out. John van der Geest has got 30 kilos on board and is the 2nd heaviest driver. Tony Talvitti has got 20 kilos on board. Bobby Volkanov has got 20 and David Riccardi has got 10. Let's see how it looks like out of that, quite a number of them have turned up here, which is great. I know that we were missing a few of our championship contenders at round 2, but here at round number 3, it seems like a number of them have rejoined in. So we are going to get down onto the track then, and we're going to catch up as qualifying has just begun. So we are here in qualifying. We've got a number of cars out on circuit, trying to find who's actually the first man out. It seems like it is John van der Geest, the 2nd heaviest car taking part tonight, with 30 kilos on board for winning last time out at Goodwood. Will he be able to replicate that performance tonight? Fastest in practice. He's always shown the great speed that he can handle. He got pole position last time out at Goodwood. He was on the 2nd row, I believe, at Riverside, which then caused that incident that he got involved in that placed him that lap down. For 15 minutes on the clock, 13 and a half minutes remain as John van der Geest currently on an out lap here. And we'll be waiting for him to come across the line and start a new timed lap, and the first time lap of the qualifying session. Across the line goes John van der Geest in 1st position. He finished practice, currently 2nd in the championship with 70 points. Looks very slow into the opening turns here now. Bikernieki, a circuit I've never actually heard of before, but looking at these cars go around, it is got some really nice corners, and it is quite interesting to watch these cars head around, and I think it's going to create some a couple of good battles over the hour-long race that will be partaking at the end of this qualifying session. That rolling start, of course, which will be a part of the 60 minutes of the racing session. John Vandergeest is coming around the back end of the track right now. Because this is my first time with the circuit, I don't really want to pronounce any of the corner names, because being a Latvian circuit, they are in Latvian, and I feel like I would butcher it even more than I butcher some of these drivers' names, so I'm not even going to attempt to say any of the corner names tonight. As John Vandergeest comes up towards the timing line, he crosses it and places it at 1:11.850. Not a bad start to qualifying for John Vandergeest. He'll be trying to see if he can improve that. Talvitti already goes to the top of your timing in his Mazda, and that's a 1:11.743. So Tony Talvitti jumping out of the fray here. Talvitti does actually have 20 kilos on board. He's 10 kilos lighter than Vandergeest. And where does Talvitti actually sit in the championship? He sits in 7th position, and that's because he did not take part at Riverside, if I'm not mistaken. He joined at Goodwood. Watching Brian Watson right now, but we're going to go jump across to Vandergeest, see if he's able to improve on his current lap. Looking at the lap times of Vandergeest, it doesn't look that strong in the opening 2 sectors. In fact, it looks very, very weak indeed, but sometimes my live timing is wrong, and drivers prove me wrong when they come across the line. But what will happen here is John Vandergeest comes across the line, a 1:11.7 and a beat. It's a 1:12.1. It did not look fast at all on my timing. Going to jump across to Roll Postma. Postma sitting currently in the championship in P number 11. Again, he's only taken part in 1 event, and I think that was at Goodwood as well that we saw Roll Postma join as Pablo Finotti, the championship leader, to the top of your timing here in qualifying by less than 200ths of a second between himself and Talvitti, but it is championship leader first, 2nd position in the championship, sitting 3rd in the session right now. I am expecting an improvement from John Vandergeest at some point during this session. Not too sure when that will be. He's currently in the final sector, and it doesn't look like a fast lap again. Actually, no, sorry. John Vandergeest was on a personal best in the opening sector, but not in the middle sector. He just needs a small improvement here. Not too much bigger. Really be able to get that 10th he's looking for. He will find 4/10ths of a second. I mean, the middle sector was not great. The opening sector was a personal best, but that final sector was an overall best. A 46.4. That is a crazy fast final sector. Birmingham drivers just in 5th position in session are going into the 48.6s there. They are 2 seconds off in that final sector alone compared to John Vandergeest's time. That's how much he gained. Will we be able to find even more time? A personal best in the opening sector. He is starting to pull away. We're going to go jump to Carl Stieg right now. Stieg sits 10th position in the championship and is the lowest driver to have taken part in 2 races. If I'm not mistaken, Stieg, last time out at Goodwood, he retired on, well, I think he actually missed the grid, fell about 3 laps down, and ended up finishing about 6 laps down, I think. So he hasn't had the best of times. He's into pit lane right now. Towards Johnny Gutierrez, going very slowly, looking to just try and find some space out on the track. That's what it's all about in the end. You want to try find some space as we come through the middle sector right now. Again, I want to really avoid using corner names because I will get it wrong. The section that they were just coming through was Tilts. I think they're coming up to Sliminka here. Do apologise if I get them wrong, as Philip Filcher runs wide. If I'm not mistaken, this is Filcher's first event tonight. Let's just go have a jump and look at the standings. It is Philip Fincher joining here at round number 3. Sitting right now in... Fincher sitting in 6th position. Not bad, actually. Not a bad position to be sitting in this championship. Looking at the time right now, championship leader in 2nd. The driver just 3 points behind in the championship is leading this qualifying session right now. And what is the point scoring system? 40-36. As if this was the way the race was to finish, with John van der Geest winning, Pablo Finotti finishing in 2nd position, Van der Geest will be leading the championship by 1 point over Finotti. Because they are only 3 points right now between them, and it's 4 points between the 2 positions. If Van der Geest was to finish in 2nd and Finotti was to finish in 3rd, they would be tied on points. Because it's 3 points between 2nd and 3rd. So it's 36 points for 2nd and 33 points for 3rd. The only way I see Van der Geest not getting a podium tonight is if he gets taken out on the opening lap again, or he gets taken out at some point during the race. Finotti, I think another driver, I think is going to get his 3rd podium, and a podium, the only man to be on podium at both races so far. I think he can easily get his 3rd tonight. Will it be another victory? Or will he have to settle behind his teammate? 3 gear drivers going out onto the track tonight, I believe. Yes. We've got Pablo Finotti sitting in 2nd. John van der Geest sitting in 1st. And Roel Postma, who sits down in 11th at the moment. If you want to get involved in this series, which is for cash, of course, lovely prize money being available to all of the drivers, then all you have to do is head across to simracingonline.co.uk and become just sign up for it, and you can join all the championships that are put on by SimRacing Online, including this wonderful Group C Honey Jar series. So we are here at round number 3. And in fact, let me go and find all of the wonderful information here tonight. So the prize money that is on offer: 1st place will receive €50, 2nd place will receive €30, and 3rd place in the championship will receive €20. But that will only be awarded if there are 15 or more drivers attending a race on average. So please sign up and make sure that average gets higher. Right now, it looks like we've only got 13 cars in the session. There are a number of others that are displaying they're in the server, but that's only because Assetto Corsa decides to display every single car that's been in the server previously. Johnny Gutierrez pushing it slightly wide there. We are going to go and have a hunt down and look at our championship leader, Pablo Finotti, in 2nd position in the qualifying session. He really wants the pole, and he will really want the win tonight. Separated by less than 200ths of a second between himself and Tony Talvitti. Talvitti not having to start the championship he would have hoped for, sitting in 7th position. And that is because he didn't race at Riverside, if I'm not mistaken. Talvitti, no, he did not race at Riverside, so he would have raced last time out at Goodwood, and he got 2nd position, splitting Van der Geest and Finotti. So it looks like those 3 cars are your drivers to look out for tonight: John van der Geest, Tony Talvitti, and Pablo Finotti. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in this session. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd last time out at Goodwood. Will they be able to repeat the podium being the same drivers? If so, what order will they be? It looks like Van der Geest is going to be the man on top once more tonight, as we continue watching here the number 66 machine. Going slightly slower here as our game does its wonderful freezing, but it fixes itself now. But sitting in second right now, going slow, trying to just maybe ease off a little bit. Get the brake temperatures to where they need them to be. Get the tyre temperatures where you need it to be. Make sure you've got some space ahead of you. And use the next lap to push. Heading up now towards the final few corners. Into the final turn goes Pablo Finotti. Cross the line onto a new lap. So currently, personal best is a 1:11.730. Looking to beat a 1:11.284 as Tony Talvitti has just placed himself ahead of Finotti. In fact, Van der Geest has also improved on his time. A 1:11.119 by Jean Van der Geest. A 1:11.384 for Tony Talvitti, which I think would have been fast enough to go on to pole if Van der Geest hadn't also improved on his lap. Pablo Finotti has thrown it into the barriers, though, on this lap, I believe I saw. So it doesn't look like he's going to be an improving, but he wants to stay out on track. He wants another attempt at this. And if he goes back to the pit lane, it's going to be a very tight attempt. So I think he's going to remain out, try to push some more. He now needs to improve about half a second if he wants to get back onto the front row of the grid alongside his championship rival Talvitti. Not really aggressive in the championship right now, sitting in 7th after just one race. He is the highest of the drivers who have only completed one event, and he sits 4 points behind Rob Milliken, who's completed 2. But he does sit 24 points off of John Van der Geest and 27 points off of Pablo Finotti. The only way he's got a chance at this championship lead is if Finotti or Van der Geest retire an event or miss an event, and that means that he'll be able to jump to them. But I think he'll easily be able to get into a top 3 by the end of this championship, even by the end of next round at Interlagos. I think we're going to see that he's going to be able to get into 3rd position in the championship. It's just going to be, will he be able to fight for either of the 2 top steps? I don't think we will see it. We're watching Tony Talvitti here. Pablo Finotti is down pit lane once more. That means that his qualifying session is at a close as Gutierrez improves into 4th, past Brian Watson with a 1:12.2, and that is 7/10 quicker than Watson. So a great improvement there for Johnny Gutierrez. Into the final turn goes Tony Talvitti. It's a 1:11.1 to beat, but he comes down pit lane not quite fast enough and bails on the lap as qualifying is now over. Just waiting for the cars to complete their laps, and then we will be waiting for the drivers to start with the event tonight. 1 hour on the clock. The rolling start will be counted towards that hour of racing, remember. So after a lap here under formation, I'm thinking about 58 minutes. Both races we have seen pit stops required by both drivers at Goodwood. I think the latest pit stop we saw was in the final 10 minutes. The earliest pit stop we saw was, I believe, about 15 minutes into the event, and that was a serious undercut. So strategy really is a mix here, but it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers decide to do as we've got 20 seconds on the clock. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and see if we can find ourselves a nice little slot here on the grid as I do this one-handed as I try to hold my microphone. Here we go. You'll be able to see all the drivers once they get their way onto the grid, and the formation lap will start shortly after the lights go out. So a manual formation lap, of course, for these drivers that they'll have to run at, I believe it's 100 kilometers an hour. Let's see if I can quickly find it. Here we go. 120 kilometers an hour. The formation lap is done in single file. The race will start at the end of the formation lap as they enter the last corner. Of course, they go side by side as they come through the final corner. Now, that final corner isn't the tightest final corner we've had. Goodwood was extremely tight, that final corner. However, that sharp left-hander is still going to cause some issues. Bearing in mind, we did see issues at Riverside, which was a huge right-hander banked corner. No issues should have happened, but they did. So I'm always on edge now on these rolling starts. How clean are they going to get? The lights are up. That means the formation lap is going to start in a moment's time. And these drivers are going to start to pull away from our cameras. Here they go. The clock is technically up, but the race is not underway. The hour is counting down. We're going to see if we can find our way to the front of this field right now. And there we go. Going to talk you through your qualifying results then and the start to this event. John van der Geest will be starting on pole position. Tony Talvitti in second. Pablo Finotti will be starting in third. Johnny Gutierrez in fourth. Brian Watson will be starting in fifth. Carl Stieg will be starting in sixth. Larry Thomas in seventh. Philip Pickler in eighth. Dennis Ensheko in ninth. Sean Devlin in 10th. Roel Postma in 11th. Rob Milliken in 12th. It looks like Sean Devlin and Dennis Ensheko have just swapped around for 9th and 10th position there. And Andrew Harper will be rounding out the field in 13th. A few drivers swapping position in the back of the field there. It looks like they haven't kept entirely to their qualifying position. Here you go, drivers going around single file. I think they actually may be remaining single file this time for the start of the race, as they're coming up towards the final few turns now, and then they will be underway. And like I said, it will be about 58 minutes when these drivers actually get going, with the hour being included in this formation lap. Here we go, penultimate turn. We're about to go for 1 hour of racing here at the Bikernieki high-speed ring. Up towards the final turn, the drivers line themselves up. They're going to go green. John van der Geest pulls away from the start, and a fantastic start indeed there from the front of your field. Absolutely great. Here they go. Through turn number 1, Talvitti already losing out P2. It looks like the rest of the field remaining similarly in position, but Pablo Finotti into P number 2 right now. That's where he needs to be. Even if he finishes this race in second, if Van der Geest wins, Van der Geest leads the championship, albeit by just 1 point. So Finotti is going to want to be as close to his teammate as he possibly can in this event. It looks like a very clean start from our field here, as Stieg looks for the overtake on Watson. Couldn't quite make the move on the inside, just behind. Here goes Pitchler in his first event in the championship, looking to find a way past Larry Thomas. Can't quite do the move for P number 7, but the opening lap of the race looks like it's been a strong one as they come on through, and it's a very clean start to the championship race as well here. Round number 3 of the Group C Honey Jar Series, brought to you by SimRacingOnline.co.uk. Through the final turn, you can see the leading drivers pulling away. You can see this middle of the field pack. Here is, though, it's Gutierrez on the rear end of Finotti and Talvitti. Talvitti actually stuck on the outside as he tries to... Sorry, stuck on the inside. Finotti was the man on the outside, and falls down a P number 3. A good move on the inside there by Talvitti to get back into second position. Finotti doesn't want this. If Van der Geest wins and Finotti finishes third yet again, this will be the exact same finishing order in the top 3 as we saw at Goodwood. That will also mean that Finotti will be 4 points behind Van der Geest, which is bigger than the gap is now, which is only 3 points with Finotti ahead. They continue on here. We're almost 5 minutes into the event already. But of course, 2 minutes of that was under the formation lap. Gonna jump to Johnny Gutierrez all over the rear end of Pablo Finotti, looking to take the championship leader down a peg here, moving as far down the order as he can. Talvitti will be hoping so. Talvitti is hoping for anything he can get. Remember, Finotti is the heaviest car out there tonight. 40 kilograms of ballast on board. Van der Geest is the next heaviest with 30. Then it is Talvitti, I believe, with 20. And around goes Gutierrez. No, it's around goes Finotti. He's collected Gutierrez at about half the field. A big mistake there for Finotti, but he's only lost 2 positions for it. Do you know what that's done? That's put Carl Stieg into the best position he's been all championship long. Currently 10th in the championship, and he is the worst position in the championship out of all the drivers that have taken part in 2 events. Larry Thomas trying to recover from this event right now, trying to recover from the issues created by Finotti. Mishenko was able to get through after a little bit of time and moves into 4th, but that has thrown around the standings here at the moment within the opening 5 minutes. So after the opening 3 competitive laps of this race, Van der Geest lead, Talvitti is in 2nd, Stieg 3rd, Ashenko 4th, championship leader Finotti in 5th. Around goes Devlin. He tries to get it back around. Who is that into pit lane? It's Gutierrez down pit lane after just 7 minutes of this event. Devlin has found himself back the right way, but it looks like he's actually having some major issues there. He's around again, trying to sort out his car here. A lot of revving going on. He spins the car. Number 17 machine facing the right way again. Here comes Harper to fly on by. That is Harper very far down the order, but through goes Harper. Do you know what? If Finotti finishes 5th in this event, where will he actually be in the championship? 5th position will get you 28 points. He will lose 12 points to Van der Geest, and he'll be 11 points down. I don't think he'll lose any other positions, though, compared to how far everyone else is down in the championship or down in this race, because Gutierrez, who's pitted, is the next closest car. He's 3rd in the championship, but this is throwing everything up in the air. Talking about being 3rd in the championship, Gutierrez isn't actually running with any weight ballast. He is just a consistent driver. He's yet to score a podium, yet to get any additional weight in order to almost slow him down so that it's more competitive. Not showing that on Van der Geest, though. He's not being any less competitive, even with 30 kilos of ballast on board, as Postma goes into the rear end of Pablo Finotti. Around goes Finotti after contact. He's down another position. He's got Rob Milliken all over the rear. This is not the event that Pablo Finotti was hoping for tonight. After 2 podium positions in the opening 2 rounds here at round 3 at Bikernieki High Speed Ring, Pablo Finotti in 8th position from 3rd on the grid. Not the start that he would have wanted here tonight. Looking at a few of the midfield cars, they're starting to separate themselves out now, which is what they want. They want to make sure they can get into their own rhythm and they won't have issues with any other cars out there. Into the final turn goes Thomas right now in P7 in the event. Larry Thomas in the Porsche machine. A Porsche leading this event right now. John Van der Geest. A Porsche also in 3rd. That's Carl Steve. It is Andrew Harper at a standstill on the side of the track. Not too sure why. He's moving again. Andrew Harper Was that trying to get out of the way of everyone, or was that some sort of issue there? As Larry Thomas looking for that 6th position in this event. Thomas looking in the championship. He sits 5th in the championship. Pitchler, who he's trying to overtake. Pitchler has not raced so far this season. This is his debut event here in the Group C Honey Jar Series. I'm actually going to go and check out, see if I can find Pitchler's information, which I do like doing, is searching information here. He has taken part in a number of events. He's got, let's have a little look at this. His best championship result, 2nd position in the BMWs. I believe that would be on, what is that on? That is on R Factor 1. He's his best there. You can see he's actually been changing position ahead as Pitchler's made his way past Postma after a mistake from Postma. But 2nd position, highest result in the championship. More recently, it's the middle of the pack, 6th, 7th position, which is where he's running about now, as he in fact loses 2 positions. Not really what he would have hoped for, but he's continuing on right now, trying his hardest to get a good result here in the debut. And I just don't think he wants to push too hard. I think he's just taking it easy here. Take what positions comes to him. He knows people are going to be making mistakes, and he doesn't want to be one of those drivers making the mistakes. Johnny Gutierrez trying to recover here. Already done a pit stop in this event. I suspect the fact that he came in after just 5 minutes, he will need a 2nd pit stop. He makes his way past Watson. Ryan Watson sitting in 11th now. Larry Thomas trying to make the move on the outside of Roll Postma here. Can't quite do it. Postma doing a fantastic job to be in the position he is in right now in 5th. Postma currently sits in the 11th position in the championship. I think he joined at Goodwood last time out, in which he got 4th by the look of it. He's looking to replicate that event. We've got Thomas defending from Pitchler, and the man just behind, Pablo Finotti, really trying to get involved now, trying to get back up the order. He can find his way back into 5th in just a couple of laps, because he's got 3 cars all so close towards him. He moves to the right hand side of Pitchler. Pitchler just allows it, doesn't defend. He knows Finotti is one of the fastest drivers out on track. Certainly not the fastest, but one of the fastest. Do you know what I'm surprised about? John Van der Geest not pulling the gap we saw in the opening, in Goodwood. Also not seeing the speed we saw at the opening round, but Palvitti doing a fantastic job to keep up similar pace to Van der Geest, keeping at the moment within 2.5 seconds with the 2 drivers, 1st and 2nd in the race. Van der Geest, if he wins this event, he's moving into the lead in the championship no matter what. If Finotti gets 2nd, he will be 1 point behind in the championship, because he currently leads by just 3 points. But Finotti, 2 incidents in this race. One was a spin that looked like it was his own fault, may have been contact from the driver behind, and the second one, which was definitely contact, that placed him around, and he's recovering from it. He was in 8th when he got back going again. He's up to 7th, trying to chase down Larry Thomas right now, but it just doesn't seem like he's able to replicate that pace. He may have completely killed the tires on his machine, as Andrew Harper at a standstill again, and it looks like he may be out of this event as he jumps back to the pits. It looks like that is a retirement for Andrew Harper, the creator of our skin pack tonight. It is in fact a DNF from Andrew Harper. Dennis Shenko running in P number 4 right now. A great job for Shenko. Championship standings, he sits in P4 anyway. The fact that he's got so much time over Gutierrez and only sits 8 points behind, this is definitely going to move him into 3rd position if he can finish here. Because Carl Stieg, who's on that podium right now, he's down in 7th with only 1 event to his name. So this looks like Assenko, if he finishes in 4th, he'll get 3rd in the championship out of tonight's event, which will be absolutely fantastic to see. Johnny Gutierrez, however, does not want that to happen, and he will be pushing hard in his 101 machine. Already has done a pit stop, but I'm expecting a second one, bearing in mind he pitted only 5 minutes into this event. Looking at Gutierrez chase down Rob Milliken right now for 9th position. Gutierrez definitely looks like he's a little bit backing off a little bit more than he normally would in these overtakes. A big slide though from Milliken, and through on the inside goes Gutierrez. Will he be able to hold it? Yes, he will. Into the braking zone. Gutierrez leaves the room for Milliken on the outside. Milliken leaves the room on the inside. They're still side by side on the exit as they come up through to another right-hander corner. This will be Gutierrez. There he goes, he's through, but he clips the curbing. A little bit of a slide. He holds on to it, though. Milliken trying to get back position back. Finotti has moved up into P6, so whilst we've been watching this battle, he has found his way past Pitchler. Sorry, he already found his way past Pitchler. He's found his way past Thomas. Looks like he's gone off the circuit, made a mistake somewhere, and has returned back on track in P number 8 behind Finotti and Pitchler. We watch Gutierrez here head on through up towards the final turns. Gutierrez holding on to the position as well as he can. Talvini trying to do as much as he can to keep up with Van der Geest. He's still within the same gaps that we saw him gain into 2nd position. He's been at about between 2 to 3 seconds for about 10 minutes now since the issues behind him that affected 3rd all the way down to 13th position. Talvini running in P2 and doing a great job at it, and I think he might be able to at some point catch up with Van der Geest, or the pit stop stages he may choose a strategy that jumps him ahead of Van der Geest or gets him closer. Look at that, half a second quicker that time around by Talvini. He is trying his hardest to catch up. In fact, his personal best is the fastest lap, a 1:12.3. John Van der Geest's personal best and the second fastest lap is a 1:12.5. As these drivers are starting to go past back markers, you saw that Devlin has now fallen a lap down in this race. Bearing in mind the lap only takes 1 minute and 12 seconds. Watson is only about 10 seconds ahead of these guys on track. Talvini still pushing to catch up to Van der Geest as much as he can, and he's going to try and take as much advantage of it as he can. Denis Shashenko is around after almost being on the a good position to get 3rd in the championship. He's around and very slow. He sorted himself out. The 202 is moving again, but down in 9th, and the guy he wanted to get past in the championship has moved up into 8th. So that is not great there for Shenko, not what we would have hoped for, but it does mean that this man here, Pablo Finotti, now back into 5th position in this event. And if that's where he finishes, the gap will only be 11 points. Instead of the 20 it would have been if Finotti was to finish lower in about 8th, I think it was, where he was earlier on. But across the line goes Finotti. Slower than Postma that time by. He'll be trying to catch his teammate as much as he can. The gear team sitting in 1st, 4th and 5th right now. The other teams that are running here tonight, let's have a little bit of a look. We've also got Stieg Autosport driving by Carl Stieg, of course, sitting in that podium position. Absolutely fantastic. We've also got Flying Crowbar Racing, one of our sponsors here tonight, and that is driven by Rob Milliken, who sits in 10th. And we've also got Pinnacle Motorsport being driven by Tony Talvitti, who's in 2nd right now. The top 5 all driving for a team in this event. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 11th, 12th, and the retirement of Harper, all driving under their own racing banners. 20 minutes down, 40 minutes to go here as we continue to watch this fight of drivers trying to control their cars around the track. It's not worked out for everyone, and we've seen a number of mistakes and incidents. Notably, Pablo Finotti, who we're watching right now, Gutierrez, who has made his way into 7th, and Ashenko, who's down to 9th right now. Talvitti just not able to keep the pace on Van der Geest he would have been hoping for. He was able to hold between 2 and 3 seconds between the two of them for a quarter of an hour, but now Van der Geest getting into his element, the gap is opening up between them. Gutierrez trying to recover his way up the order in 7th position right now, just a second behind Philip Pitchler, new to the series tonight. They head up towards the final few turns here at Bikernieki high-speed ring. Into the final turn they go. The gap has seriously closed up, but will Gutierrez be able to find an opportunity? Moving to the left-hand side of the circuit as the track just widens out. It bottlenecks into the turn, and around the outside goes Gutierrez. Pitcher, he just doesn't look too aggressive in his defending here tonight. He just allows Gutierrez through, and Pitcher's just going to remain on track, and I think that's what the best he's hoping for right now. Five seconds between Van der Geest and Talvitti. That has opened up by about 3 seconds in the past 5 minutes. And I don't know whether that's because of back markers, whether that's because of mistakes, or whether that's just because Van der Geest is just so much more in a rhythm right now. Looking at it, it's just a rhythm for Jean Van der Geest. 112.6 is constantly. Tony Talvitti's time down in the 13s, the 113s, so he's definitely not in a rhythm like Van der Geest is, and I think him just catching up, him realizing he was faster than the race leader by the driver who could be leading the championship at the end of this event, just maybe getting a little bit distracted by it all and deciding to push a little bit harder, and that's just made him make a few mistakes, maybe run onto the grass a little bit, slow himself down because he's scared himself he's going to make a big mistake, as most of our top runners has, and you would have seen that. As Van der Geest has also now made his way past Watson and Milliken in this event as well, and separated himself between Talvitti and himself in the lead, because now Talvitti has got to get past, I believe, only Milliken. Doesn't look like, yeah, he's already made his way past Watson, so it's only Milliken that Talvitti has to worry about right now. As Philip Richler is actually still within a second of Gutierrez, and he seems like he is a relatively fast driver. He's not the fastest driver, but he's able to keep it consistent, and I think we're going to see some good results from him in future events. And certainly, actually, looking at what tracks we do have on our calendar, I think being consistent is really going to help you out at I think Into the Grass is going to be really important to keep doing what you're doing all the way strong, with it's such a difficult track. And I think Spielberg, the 1979 chicane version of Spielberg, is going to be incredibly interesting. as I just think that's going to be a great battle for all the cars and a great fight to try and keep the cars going the right way. Battle between Devlin and Watson. Well, Devlin has made his way quite easily past Watson. It doesn't look like Watson was overly defensive in that overtake. As we are coming up to the halfway point in the event here. Just trying to see where all the battles are. It seems like most cars, they're just separated about a second apart, and Talviti is just losing time hand over fist for the lead in this event right now, and Vandegee's finally showing the pace that he had at Goodwood. Certainly not as dominant as he was at round 2, but he's trying his hardest, and you can see that he's trying his hardest in this event to push as hard as he possibly can, and he's pulled the gap over everyone apart from Talviti. And Talviti, even though he's fine, he's 6 seconds behind, that could really amount to something come the pit stop and the strategy these drivers decide to play. Devlin looking to make the move on Rob Milliken. On through he goes. Devlin, a man on a mission, recently getting past Watkin, getting past Milliken. Milliken off the circuit, going to lose the position to Watkin as well. And Rob Milliken moves down to P number 12, losing out a little bit there, as Talviti is the first man down pit lane. And I can tell you why that'll be. He's losing time to Vandegeest. The best way that he was going to keep the same time is if he gets a fresh set of tyres on his car. He's going to be pushing back out again. Issue with that, I can see, is if he is changing tyres, Vandegeest most likely will not. That's going to be a lot of time lost. But if it's just a fuel stop, maybe just he knew he was losing time, try and get the jump on it. The strategy play of Vandegeest doesn't know how close he's going to be, come out of the pit stops, blah, blah, try to do mind games here, but it looked like it was a 30-second stop, including pit lane traveling. So probably about 15 seconds in the end. I cannot expect a tyre change to have been completed in that. And probably just additional fuel being placed into the machine. As Vandegeest continuing around in the lead right now, 37 seconds between himself and Talviti. The fact that Talviti has made a pit stop and is still in P number 2 just shows you the gap that these two drivers had from the rest of the field following the crash that impacted third position to the back of the grid. In particular, Juan Pablo Finotti still trying to recover on P5. He's not getting much closer to Postma. But if he does get to Postma, he's also going to get to this man here, Carl Stieg. Because this is Stieg, that is Postma just behind. And it was Rob Milliken just coming down pit lane there. So yeah, if Finotti is able to catch up to Postma, he's only a couple of seconds behind. About 3 seconds behind, in fact. There he comes into the turn. He could get involved in this fight, and the fact that Steve just had a wobble, Postma ran onto the grass a little bit and slightly wide. It looks like it could be quite easy for Finotti to be able to catch up in this fight. And with it being halfway through this event, I'm going to have a quick break, go get myself something to drink as I leave you on board with Pablo Finotti. I'll be back in 1 moment's time as Postma actually takes third position in this event at the moment. Hello everybody and welcome back then to the third round of the Sim Racing Online's Group C Honey Jar series here at Bikernieki High Speed Ring. We have got John van der Geest leading at the halfway point. Talvitti sits in second, Postma in third. Championship leader during our break did get into fourth position and is on a true recovery drive right now. We've got Stieg under attack in the background from Gutierrez. Gutierrez also on a recovery drive right now. Gutierrez third in the championship and looking to remain there. Postma down pit lane. Looks like he may not want to hold up Binotti, maybe on track. He decides to come down pit lane, allows his teammate into P number 3 for now. That is 21 seconds behind second position of Talvitti. I don't think he'll be able to do that. Definitely as he's still got a pit stop to come. Talvitti does not. Let's just put into mind right now that the top 3 in this race currently are the top 3, not only in the championship, but they were the top 3 at Goodwood in this exact order. And sorry, Talvitti is not in the top 3 in the championship. Gutierrez is with that, but the top 3 right now in this race, they are the top 3 in the at Goodwood. Postma back out of track now, down in P number 9. So if these drivers are to pit early, they are going to have to find their way and fight their way back up. Finotti's been doing that all race long. I'm sure he'll be waiting to pit as late as possible to try and avoid getting involved in any fights with anyone as we continue to watch this encounter for fourth position between Stieg and Gutierrez. A wobble from Stieg, a fantastic exit from Gutierrez all over the rear, moves to the right hand side of the track, looks to the inside. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish on the inside line there, but Gutierrez slams into Carl Stieg. Stieg's found his way back on track. Gutierrez almost calmer here, has put it backwards on the grass, and he's going to have to wait for a free spot on track. He's going to finally turn his car around, down in P6 right now. Do you know what's really sad is Gutierrez has already done a pit stop in this race, and he was all the way up in a net 5th position. Net 6th position. He's now lost that, and he's lost the fight for net 5th, and he's just thrown that all the way, and he's still got a pit stop to go. But what a shame. He could have had that position very easily if he just waited and not dived to the inside line in a ridiculous overtake attempt. Thomas in the pits, Ashenko in the pits, as this race has now surpassed 25 laps of running. As we continue to watch Gutierrez run around in P6, but not for long, because we're going to jump to a fight between Watson and Devlin, P8 and P9. Devlin all over the rear end of Watson, moves to the inside line, slows down though, doesn't want to go for the inside, doesn't want to risk it. He's going to just wait for a clean move and a proper chance here. Finotti, Stieg, the only drivers that aren't Talvitti that are a lap down, so as Devlin moves his way past Watson. Gutierrez, I think, was just displayed as in pit lane, so I think he's just done a second stop and a quick stop there. Right now, it looks like Stieg is about to fall a lap down in this event. There he is. There is the race leader. So Stieg is about to go a lap down. Pablo Finotti a further 6-7 seconds up the way here tonight. But it looks like Finotti will also fall a lap down, because Van der Geest, Finotti, Stieg, all of them still needing to pit right now. The highest driver who's pitted is Talvitti, and he's held 36 seconds between himself and Van der Geest since the pit stop. It's not changed. And I think that's going to be very important. What can Van der Geest do in his pit stop? If he matches Talviti's pit stop, it'll be 6 seconds between the two of them, which was before the pit stops. If he's a little bit slower, that could mean all the difference between Van der Geest or Talviti winning here tonight. We've seen it on so many occasions that a pit stop can make a driver jump or lose a position. And I think tonight, as with most of the series, it's not about the overtakes on track. It's about who can keep it together and then what their custom pit strategy is. Because pit strategy, very important in this event. Even though pit stops are not mandatory, it is still a crucial part of the race. And it's almost not mandatory, but it is a necessity to get to the end of the event. Not on fuel, sorry, not on tyres, but on fuel. As it looks like Van der Geest making his way past a back marker there. It looks like that may have been a Schenko. No, that was in fact, yeah, that was a Schenko. Stieg suddenly appeared as a lap down. It looks like he's ran off the circuit somewhere and made a mistake, because that was a very sudden appearing a lap down. Pablo Finotti continuing on though. The question is, when is Van der Geest going to pit? Oh, is that Stieg around? No, that is another back marker around. I thought that was actually Carl Stieg at the time. It isn't. It's Dennis Ashenko around. Back to Van der Geest though, and talking about his strategy at the at Goodwood. He pitted with 20 minutes to go, the final third of the race. I'm expecting an identical strategy from him tonight, because it played out so well at Goodwood. I think it's going to play out here as they come up towards the final few turns. Watching Ashenko 2 laps down as Finotti is about to fall a lap down to race leader, who's coming up towards that final turn now, the first turn now. Watson has made his way past Devlin in 8th and 9th, and that is because Devlin is off. You can hear the car's engine there. It's now turned around. Thomas has also made his way through into P9. Another car having to jump onto the grass to avoid that. That was Carl Stieg. Just waiting now to see when Van der Geest and Finotti come down pit lane and what their strategies are in this race. Van der Geest second in the championship, 3 points behind Finotti. Finotti third in the first in the championship, 3 points ahead of Van der Geest. If the race was to finish how it is now, Van der Geest would be leading the championship by 4 points. Talviti will have climbed up a little bit in the order. I'm not too sure how much, but currently sitting in 7th position, the highest man with only 1 race to his name. He got 2nd last time out at Goodwood. It looks like he's on for another 2nd position here today, maybe even a victory. You have to find out. But like I said, if Talviti, I said this at the very start of the race, if Van der Geest finished 2nd and Finotti finished 3rd, they would be level on points in the lead of the championship. Talviti is slowly closing that gap to Van der Geest. It's decreased ever so slightly in the past few laps. Talviti's done his pit stop. Van der Geest has not. So it's going to be interesting depending on whether Van der Geest's pit stop is the same time, shorter or longer than Talviti. If it's shorter, he'll hold the lead. If it's the same time, I think Talviti might be able to do something with it, but it depends. If it's longer, Talviti is going to lead this race. And it's going to be what can Van der Geest do in the final stint, because unlike what we saw at Goodwood, where Van der Geest was untouchable last time out, literally untouchable, lapping the entire field at least once, and most of them at least 2-3 times. So it's going to be very interesting to see what that plays out to be, as Finotti has now fallen a lap down behind his championship rival John Van der Geest. we are watching Larry Thomas chase down P number 8 of Brian Watson, as they are two of the closest cars on track right now, battling for position as we're coming into the final third of this race. The final 20 minutes is the sprint time as Thomas dives to the outside, tries the outside line, can't do it, has to give in the position. I think backs out a little bit more than he really had to. Devlin in the pit lane right now. Heading back towards the start-finish line now. 20 minutes on the clock. Van der Geest coming up towards the final turn. Will he make this opportunity to come down pit lane with 20 on the clock? No. Van der Geest stays out. He is pushing this. He is pushing this as hard as he possibly can, as far as he possibly can. Does he think he might be able to do this as a splash and dash? 2 seconds, just pulled up, quickly fill up on fuel and go. And try to hope that the pit lane is not an additional 30 seconds in this. I don't know how long. Talvini was in pits for a total of 30 seconds. I think that included about a 15-second stop. So that's 15 seconds down pit lane. If Van der Geest can pull up to a stop for 10 seconds, that's 25 seconds. We'll be able to have a 10-second lead over Talvini. So it looks like this might play into Van der Geest's hand by pushing as long as he can. We see Devlin spinning in the background there as we watch your race leader right now. He won last time out. He's looking for back-to-back victories, which will put him into the lead in the championship here in the SimRacingOnline.co.uk's Group C Honey Jar Series, where these drivers are competing for a cash reward, 50 euros for the championship winner, 30 euros for the second position driver, and 10 euros for third position. I sound so confident with that. No, it's not. It's 50 euros for the winner, 30 euros for second, and 20 euros for third. It's an absolutely free championship to join, so head over across to simracingonline.co.uk where you can sign up to take part in the series and be in with a shot at winning that wonderful prize, as well as racing on these broadcasts here to twitch.tv/simracingonline.co.uk. Larry Thomas in a fight here, back on the outside of Watson. He's tried it on the same corner. We saw him attempt it before, and he's tried it on the outside yet again. It's not worked out yet again. Do you know what? Another thing I don't think have worked out? The weight penalties. 40 kilos on Finotti. We saw the weight penalty actually bring into effect. I think that actually has had an effect. 30 kilos on Van der Geest. It certainly slowed him down. It's brought him closer to the field. But I think the only time we're going to see this field the same speed is when Van der Geest, Talviti, Finotti are all running maximum ballast tonight. And if within this series, maximum ballast that can be applied is on the outside goes Thomas, and he really tries it. He slows down. He pushes way too hard. But with it, Watson ran around. I think there was contact. Both of them off track right now. Larry Thomas finding his way back on in 8th. Watson down in P9. So the maximum that these drivers can run is 120 kilos. I think that once Van der Geest, Talvini, Finotti, all of them are on 120 kilos, that's when stuff is going to get interesting. And I think, looking at it, 30 kilos... for a win, that would have to be 4 wins. John Van der Geest is 100% going to get a full ballast by the end of this event, by the end of this series. I think Pablo Finotti will as well, not from wins but from podiums, and I think Tony Talviti may have a chance at getting that full 120 kilo ballast on board as well. I mean, you can already see it's having a slight effect on these cars, but I don't think we're going to see drastic change in positions until they're all on maximum ballast, and then drivers such as Steve Pitcher Postma, all of them might be able to get involved in. Gutierrez might be able to get involved in getting those podium positions. We continue on. We're still waiting for your race leader to come down pit lane. He's got over 30 seconds between himself and Talvitti. What is the actual gap between them? 37 seconds. It's increased. It has increased since pit stops. It was 36.8. It's only increased by about half a second. Not too much, but it's still important that Van der Geest is still pulling away. Yes, he'll be on a much lighter fuel load right now, but it's going to be whether he can keep it together. Does he finally come down pit lane? No, he does not. Still out 45 minutes into this event. Van der Geest still leading without a pit stop. Watson stuck on the outside of Ashenko as Ashenko makes the move nice and easily on the inside line. As Talvitti has done a fantastic job, I must say, to hold on to second position in this race and keep within the gap that he has of Van der Geest. But he is starting to lose time out here, and some serious time to the race leader, trying to find his way past some back markers. I think that's what may be the big issue here, is these back markers aren't following blue flag rules. These back markers are fighting for the position. They are like, well, I want to be ahead of you on track. I don't want to fall that position. And even though it's not a fight position, Talvitti is having to fight his way past these guys. And I think more than anything, that's what's making him lose time, because he's just lost a second in the opening sector, and that will be for sure getting past these back markers, who really should be moving out of the way on the straight, not trying to hold a defensive line through turn one, as we just saw that back marker do. Here's one thing I find about racing: it is a very gentleman-like sport. You do have to be kind to people out on track in some situations, but sometimes when you're just heads in it and you're wanting to win it, sometimes you don't think. And if you get blue flag, the first thing you should do is move out the way as soon as it's safe. And that back marker had the entire straight to move out the way. He decided not to, and that's something that really we shouldn't see, is him having to, like Talvitti having to fight his way around the outside to make the move. Back towards your race leader. We're going to have to focus on him, because we are coming up to the final 10 minutes of the event, but we are yet to see Jean Van der Geest down pit lane. He will be leading the championship if he wins the event tonight. No matter what, he will be leading the championship, no matter where Finotti finishes. It looks like Finotti will be finishing third, which means that Van der Geest will have a 4-point lead. But if Talvitti is able to do anything from P number 2 in this race, once Van der Geest has pitted, that means that Van der Geest and Finotti will be tied if Van der Geest finished in second and Finotti finished in third. Don't think that's going to happen though, purely because the gap between Talvitti and Van der Geest, it's opening up like crazy. Like crazy. 12.5 minutes left on the clock right now. Jean Van der Geest leading the way. When is he going to come down pit lane? Surely he'll need to come down pit lane. I mean, he's been out of the lead so comfortably. He could just be trying to say, he may have just been saving some fuel earlier on. Now he's pushing it. That's why Talvitti's now losing the time. It's because Van der Geest was saving fuel. Maybe realised he wasn't going to get to the end, and is now going to push it as hard as he can as we continue to watch the leader. Here he comes into pit lane. Just over 10 minutes to go in this race. Your race leader is down pit lane. How quick will that stop be? Tony Talvitti only just heading up now, as he's got one turn. Now he's heading towards the start-finish line once more. John Van der Geest in the last pit stall. So the moment he puts his foot down, he can reach up to racing speed. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Away he goes. And out of pits. Here comes Tony Taviti coming up towards the final turn. It was 6 seconds before pit stop stages. What is it going to be between them after pit stop stages? It's 10 seconds. And that entire 4 seconds that was lost in the past 5 minutes of this event. As it looks like Brian Watson running off the track a little bit there. We've got a few battles starting to happen in the midfield here. We've got Gutierrez has made his way past Poster, but then decided the Postman should have the position back, and he jumps off the track, running slightly wide in turn number 1. Taviti, though, is going to be the only man to finish on the lead lap alongside your race leader. Finotti is a lap down, is he not? It's displaying as 137, but that's a lap down. No way anyone can be that far down and not be a lap down. But actually, that could be a point. I don't think we've seen Finotti down pit lane yet, have we? So I think he is back on the lead lap because he's not pitted yet. So our current championship leader in third, not yet pitted in this event. He should be in soon, because Van der Geest was one of the latest pit stoppers in the last round. Not the latest, but one of the latest. Finotti pitted significantly earlier. I think we have to see him down shortly, surely, that they won't be able to get the entire race without having to pit. Otherwise, if he could, Van der Geest would have done it. Either way, he's not going to gain on third. I don't think he's going to lose to Stieg behind. Seems like that gap is big enough as it is. So I think that it is going to be Finotti in third, and the results of Van der Geest, Taviti and Finotti, a duplicate of what we saw at Goodwood. And that's going to put Van der Geest into the lead of the championship. Finotti 4 points behind. We've still got 9 minutes left to go in this race, though. Anything can happen. 41 competitive laps have been completed. As we're still watching Finotti, that is Van der Geest in the background. Finotti still out on track right now, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know why he's decided to stay out on track so long. What is this going to benefit him? Maybe. I mean, no one's changed tires, so pitting later could benefit you. Fill up less on fuel. But surely drivers are just adding fuel, and they're not just like they're not going in on empty tanks and filling up as much as they need. I'm surely they're going in with still fuel, the same amount of fuel that Finotti has. At this stage, they're going in, filling up on fuel, and then coming out again, whilst Finotti's just pushing until he has no fuel. So he'll have to fill up just as much, won't he, to get to the end? The car ahead of him dives down pit lane. That is Milliken, I think, for the 3rd time tonight. I think that is Rob Milliken down pit lane. As Finotti falls a lap down. Nice and easy for Van der Geest to make his way on the inside there. Surely falling a lap down for a 2nd time tonight will prompt Finotti into the pits. I'm not 100% certain that he'll do that. That might prompt him in. A few people will be hoping that he does come in. Try to give him a chance. Stieg, for example, might be looking for a chance in this event. I'm not too sure what the gap is between them. Purely because my hotkeys are broken and I cannot change what the standings are displaying. So I can't see whether it's what the gaps are between each individual driver. I will fix my hotkeys for round number 4, which is in 2 weeks' time, if I'm not mistaken. Round number 4 will be bringing live, yes, in 2 weeks' time on July the 21st. At 8 o'clock BST once more. We will be heading across the Insular Ghost 1975 layout. the lovely layout, a very long track. So compared to the 1 minute lap times here, we're going to be seeing 2.5 lap minutes, I believe. From experience that I've had at the track years ago. We've got a couple of battles going on. We've got this battle here, Gutierrez on the rear end of Postma. We also had Richler on the rear end of Stieg. Now that's an interesting one because I think Stieg and Finotti are quite close together. So Finotti could lose out third position in this race and lose to fifth, depending on when he comes down pit lane. Because I believe Stieg and Pitchler have already made their starts. I'm not 100% certain. I don't think that everyone's going to be pitting this race. I really don't. Because it's just getting so late. We're into the final 5 minutes. Brian Watson on the rear end of Postma here. Sorry, Brian Watson on the rear end of Ashenko here. Wrong name, I do apologise. Looks to the inside on the exit. There's contact. Both of them onto the grass. More so Watson. He loses position. Ashenko did the right job of holding that centre line. Watson trying to go for a gap that didn't exist. John Van der Geest, fastest lap of the race, a 1:11.692. The only driver running in a 1:11. He is pulling so much time from Talvitti. He is pushing so hard in this second and final stint. For him, it's a sprint race. Pitted with 15 to go. Less than 15 to go, in fact. He pitted with about 11 to go. So it really is just get out there and a sprint for 10 minutes. And he's already doubled the gap between himself and Talvitti, what it was 5 minutes ago. Back towards these fights, though, that are going on further down the order. This is 5th and 4th. Where is 3rd on track? By the looks of it, he's a couple of corners ahead. But if Finotti needs to pit and Stieg and Pitchler do not, that's Finotti down the position. But I don't think, I really don't believe Finotti is a lap down without a pit stop. He must have a pit stop. At the same time, I don't think he does. So confused about who's got a pit stop or not right now. So we continue on through with just 4 minutes to go. I cannot see anyone else diving down pit lane. So this is an actual battle for 4th and 5th right now. I say that! Stieg into the pits with 3.5 minutes to go. Stieg is down pit lane, so there are still drivers who haven't pitted. With 3.5 minutes to go, that must mean Finotti hasn't pitted, like I assumed. Pitchler looks like he hasn't pitted, and they might be able to get to the end of this race without pitting in this race. I think that may actually be an opportunity right now. 6th and 5th, Postma and Gutierrez battling for position right now in the final 3 minutes of this event. 45 competitive laps have been completed here tonight, as the gap between Van der Geest and Talvitti has almost tripled in just 10 minutes. Van der Geest, a man on a mission in this second stint right now. Just 2.5 minutes left to go. Van der Geest surely has got the back-to-back victory here, round number 3. And that'll put him into the lead of the championship, with the current championship leader, Finotti, going to lose it to 2nd. 4 seconds behind. Stieg still down pit lane. I don't think this is a fuel issue. I think this is Stieg possibly out of the race. Still at a standstill, not hearing anything. If this is Stieg out of the race in the final 2-3 minutes, will be such a shame, because he's had such a great race here compared to his opening 2 races. And it just looks like it is going to be, that's it for Stieg. Still down pit lane, and he has been for about 1.5 minutes. Gutierrez has found his way past Postma and looks like he's going to get 5th and remain 3rd in the championship. for now, until Talvitti continues to improve in the championship standings and moves up the order, of course. Stieg down to 10th, still down pit lane and just nothing. I think that's it. I think that is it for Stieg, which is a real shame. 1 minute on the clock, and we are watching the man who's going to be going on to the final lap of the race in just a moment's time. It's your leader. He has led every single lap here at Bikernieki ring. He's done an absolute fantastic job, and it's going to be a 49 lapped race, 48 competitive racing laps, that one formation lap. Van der Geest having to battle with a back marker right now, but he's got the speed on the straight. He gets into turn 1. 15 seconds on the clock. Carl Stieg still in pit lane. That is a real shame. I don't know what's happened, but Carl Stieg retires with less than 5 minutes in this event. In fact, less than 3 minutes in this event. He came down pit lane and retired the car. But this is the last lap, the final lap of racing here, round 3 of SimRacingOnline.co.uk's Group C Honey Jar Series from Bikernieki High Speed Ring. Is John Van der Geest in the lead, leading every single lap from pole position. John Van der Geest is going to win and take the lead in the championship after round 3 of 8. Up to the penultimate turn comes Van der Geest. Into the final turn, John Van der Geest is going to win here at round number 3 to take the back-to-back victory and the championship lead. Johnny Gutierrez is going to finish in 6th. Denis Yashenko to cross the line in 8th. Here comes Binotti to take 3rd. Tony Talvitti, though, is going to take 2nd. Once again, your top 3, the same as it was last time out. A great result for Van der Geest, a great result for Talvitti. Binotti, for sure, would be hoping for more. Your race results here, then. Your race results here at round number 3 of the Group C Honey Jar Series. John Van der Geest, Tony Talvitti, Pablo Finotti, Philip Pitchler, Roel Postma, Larry Thomas in 7th. I'm not too sure who finished in 6th. Trying to work it out now. It looks like it was Johnny Gutierrez in 6th. Thomas in 7th. Yashenko 8th. Watson 9th. Devlin in 10th. Milliken 11th. Stieg retiring with less than 5 minutes to go in the race. And Harper retiring, I think, less than 5 minutes into the race. So, 2 retirements, complete opposite ends of the race there. But a fantastic job to Van der Geest, who now does take the lead in the championship. And he will have a 4-point lead over Pablo Finotti, who loses it to 2nd in the event. But once again, an absolutely fantastic event here at Bikernieki ring, and I must say it's some of the greatest racing that I do see is in these events, because it comes down to strategy and what the strategy comes out on. And that is absolutely fantastic, though, and what an event. Well done to the podium, well done to all of the drivers, and it's going to be great to see what that championship standings will be. That will be posted live within the next couple of days. And then we'll be able to have a little look at them in the next race, where we'll be broadcasting live here to twitch.tv SimRacingOnline.co.uk. We will be heading across to Interlagos for round number 4 on July the 21st, 8 o'clock BST. And that will mark the halfway point in the championship After that, we've then got Watkins Glen, Spielberg, Kailami, and Okayama. So, and that runs all the way up until September 15th. Be sure to hit that follow button to be notified when we do go live. And be sure to head across to simracingonline.co.uk to sign up for all of the championships, including this one, which does have that prize fee, of course. Going into the next round, then, going to be interesting because John van der Geest will have the heaviest car with, if I'm not mistaken, he will have 60 kilos on board. Pablo Finotti will have the second heaviest with 50. Then it will be Tony Talvitti with 40. So John van der Geest, if he has 60 kilos, which he will do next time out, he's already accumulated half the amount of maximum weight ballast that can be applied in the championship, which is 120 kilos in just 3 rounds. And if he has 2 more victories, he will be at full weight. And I don't think he'll be able to do that, because the weight is supposed to make it more competitive for everyone involved, and I can see that happening. I can see that van der Geest having that about maybe 70-80 kilos, and that is when that's when I think he's going to have the effect, and he's going to start, because you can see here Tony Talvitti only 10 kilos less, but he was keeping up so much better than he was at Goodwood, and I think that's going to be in everything at the next round at Interlagos. So hopefully you'll join us there on July the 21st. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you very much to Flying Crowbar Racing and Virtual Race Car Engineer 2018 for sponsoring this series. Thank you very much to Andrew Harper for creating the skin pack that we're running tonight. The SimRacingOnline.co.uk for broadcasting the event. I have been Joseph Wright. You can find me on Instagram at _WrightRD. Thank you very much for joining. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.